Okay. Good morning. We are in. Good morning. We are in Tov Kuf Yud. We are Sivav. That's where we are. Sivav. Yeah, that's what I thought. Ein goes in as a year from Isparayim Shadarka Lachazcha Behem Mina Mechubar. You shouldn't use scissors to chop up your vegetables. Because people think that if they're using scissors which are miyuchad for like cutting from the ground, shears, because then people will think that you just cut it from the ground. Whether they can use kitchen scissors.
Okay, so just to clarify, so we're not talking about stab scissors, Mr. Ryan. We're talking
about shears,
garden shears,
or small pruning shears. Yeah,
something that's mamish or clean for snipping off vegetables or cutting things. Okay.
Kitchen shears. Could be it's okay, but could be it's within the whole still. I don't know. I haven't looked that up. Zay metakdim es hakundus va'akavios. It's something that some vegetables or something that it's tikkun oichel. Ago mutar limloach harbe chatichos snon b'yom tov. You're allowed to salt many pieces of radishes, many pieces together, and wrote to the ochel. That would be also for Shabbos. On Shabbos, there's a big time because of Gzeira of Ibud. You're not allowed to salt many vegetables together. Just to review, sometimes a lot of people make mistakes, is that you can't, if you have a bunch of cucumbers, you cannot put salt on all of them together. If you have a salad, you can't put salt in the salad unless you ought to put some dressing in, some oil, something like that, which then lessens the power of the salt. But on Yom Tov, you will be allowed to do that. Yesh machmirin, however, there are those who are machmir because you could, since there's a way to get out of it. Again, we said the straight malachos ochel nefesh, it's okay, but these other types of ochel nefesh, which are you needed to do, since there's a way out of it, you could just like I said, you can do something to take down the strength, oil, something like that, or you can just, the pieces of radish, you can dip it in 1-1, so therefore, there's another way out of it, so yesh machmirin that you shouldn't do it, but b'diavad, it would be okay.
Does this tie into the fact that for a Jew, a Yid, salting is already becoming part of cooking, or this has nothing to do with that?
No, it's shal of ibud. Just you like salt. You like dipping your radishes in salt. Yeah. Even though hotzah is mutter on Yom Tov, afilu shelo letzarech. Right. So just to bring up again the dinim, we're going to see a bit more later about dinim of mitoch, but achupanim by hotzah we do say the din of mitoch. Mitoch, that is hutra lazeh. Therefore, you're allowed to carry. Carry things, even if it's not, mamish l'tzarech right this second, you're allowed to carry it. Lo, yisa masal skadolos. However, even though, it's mutter to carry on Yom Tov, but you shouldn't go ahead and start taking big boxes and big stuff. But even if, let's say, you're making a suda and a hall, whatever it is, it could be you shouldn't go ahead and start taking a huge cart full of dishes and food and whatever. You shouldn't do. Now, tzarich l'shanos. Ketzad, how do you do something different? Maybe kadayayin, imakum l'makom. If you're taking like boxes of wine, lo yaviem b'sal u'v'kupa, lo sesasocha arba chamisha kadim. You shouldn't take, big cartons, big cases of wine with that are full. It looks like you're doing, you're transporting stuff, you're whatever. It was the whole. You have to put to show that it's open up, and you take one out, whatever it is. Yavim al ksefo, or yavim al ksefo, but you can carry them on your shoulder. Fun of echad u'shtayu takes a few in the box. And muchach she'tzarach yom tov aviyah, because that looks like you're taking it yom tov. You're not. It doesn't look like you are. I want to move the stuff from one place to the other. mimakom lemakom. Who I did obviously you're taking like a you want to take a big piece of furniture. I don't know if you want to start moving moving a couch from well you need a couch there. We're gonna go to the sukkah. I don't know. It could be that shouldn't be done on Yom Tov because that's also like masa gedola, and that's not something that looks like tzarich Yom Tov. Even if it says you came to Dura, whatever. You shouldn't do that. But if you want to go ahead and move it from one part of the house to the other, or mibayis to bayis, but also chutzner, or you want to move it. So I said that the sukkah is in obviously in your chutzner. It's outside or around the side of the building or whatever it is. Shari b'chol inyim, because that's doesn't look like uvdin d'chol. If you want to carry the cow, you're having a kiddush or something, I don't know, whatever, and your neighbors and your friend's sukkah, you want to carry a whole bunch of food and a whole bunch of this and whatever, that's when it shouldn't be done. Hamolech esatevin lo yafshil sakupa la'achora. Someone who's carrying straw, whatever, he should not put the sack or behind him to carry it because it's easier to carry. And those will be you have to hold it in your hand because that's the derech of chol to put it behind and to schlep it. Yod v'chein masos shedarkan lisa osam b'mod. Also, any loads which are you usually you have to carry it with on a pole. You used to do it on the shoulders and like the Aron Kodesh. So then, or the novim of the Meraglim, Yiso Isan Agavo Me'achorav. Then you have to go ahead and put it on your back. Shadar Kalitza Sam Me'achorav. But anything which is normal to carry on the back, Yiso Sanok Seifo. Then you should put it on your shoulder. Shadar Kinasi Al Kosef. Something which is normal to go ahead and put to carry on your shoulder. Yiso San. Like, let's say you have the big, I don't know if they still have them so much, the big, they still do the big sparkler, the big, bottles of water, the guy shows up at the delivers it, he yells on the shoulder. So if you want to, bring that over, so then you shouldn't do it on your shoulder. Yourself some biyado, lefanov, you should carry it in front of you. Oh, yifrosh aleim, beg it, or you can put it on your shoulder, just put your coat over it. You're just doing something to show this is not within the chol. This is tzarich Yom Tov. You have a lot of guests coming. The tzarich lamar the hobby lefneim. You gotta quickly bring them food. Osa kedarko. Then you just do it normally because you shouldn't do the cover of the orach and you can be making on this. Then remember, don't say al adam. You can't bring it on an animal at all because that is it's using the behema and shamash behema and the whole different things. We said before that's also. Ein mivin eitzim lo b'chevel v'lo b'kupa v'lo b'machzelos. You can't bring wood not with a chevel or in a box. Or in like a net or something. Maybe mitpachas or vecheko, because these are the things. Again, these are things which are the derech to bring a bunch of wood. You tie it up, you schlep it along. That's the derech to bring it. So it's udin dechol. Maybe mitpachas or vecheko. You could take something which you don't usually use to carry it, or you can hold it like this. But you shouldn't use something which is normally used. Do it anything like I said. It's normal to use you have a big cart or something that you move stuff around and you schlep stuff. Unless it's tzarich orach, like I said, you're making a kiddush. I don't know, whatever you're doing, and suddenly you realize you have enough and you have to rush. Fine, but otherwise, again, the general klal here is that so you're allowed to carry a Yom Tov, but large loads have to be done with some sort of shinui. Tav kuf yud aleph. Mutar lasos madura hischamim connected. You are allowed to light and to make fire, to get light up the fireplace. It's mutar to light up your fireplace. Hischamim connected. If it's cold, you're allowed to do that. Agay yesh oimrim the aser lahachem beisacharif b'yom tov. Some say it's also to go ahead and to make a fire, light up the furnace, if it's just to heat up, not to cook anything. The lefamim ein hakor gadol v'ein el mefunakim, right? Sometimes, it's not that cold, and it's only for people who are sensitive. And this is not called Shaveh l'chol nefesh. And we're going to get into a second. This is the first makor. This is one of the big makors of what's called Shaveh l'chol nefesh. We'll just finish this halacha. V'havi kimerchatz of da aser, because these things are not called Shaveh l'chol nefesh. And now go lahakel by havara, because since it's for cold, we don't say who cares hot or cold. So for example, so just dealing with the core problem, we'll deal with the Shaveh l'chol nefesh, is that, the point over here is obviously if you're, I think Aruch Shulchan says the shir, that if you go ahead and what's this shir? That things get, if you have things get really cold, like your drinks start freezing, things like that. I don't know the shir. Like Lashon.
You put it outside of the freeze.
So someone told me that it used to be in Europe. That used to be that his grandmother remembered that they would pour a hot cup of tea, and by the time they would drink it, it would already be freezing at the bottom, like freezing to ice in Russia. Okay, so obviously in that type of cold, there's no question. One guy, the Russians used to go, you see pictures in the Soviet of Russia, going out in the shorts, whatever. Okay, but that's not called ulfanakim. Anything which is, is freezing, that of course you can, whatever. The question is, people from warm places, Eretz Yisrael or Los Angeles, places like that, and then they go to, New York or thing like that, and they get made fun of because, why do you need to wear a jacket? It's only, 60 degrees. So that's what, I don't know, is that, the mice of the Ramos is Mako, that if a person, obviously an older person, there's not no question you could lie, but Achopani, it's Nagul the Hakel, generally the Ramah means Nagul Hakel means, don't make a fuss, but, a person should try to be Machmir, but in a case where it's personally too cold for, he feels very cold, even if the rest of the people don't, so since he could rely on this. Now the din of Shaveh l'chol nefesh is we'll see in a second also, by the next din, is the idea that by Yom Tiv, you're allowed to do a malacha, for, lighting, whatever, but only something which is hanal l'shaveh l'chol nefesh. Now, this doesn't mean, like, say, bring an example. What about, are you allowed to eat, cook hot spicy food, right? So if you're not from, certain types of people, or, people can't handle that. Like, I remember, I'm coming from LA, so LA people eat little spicier things, salsa, whatever. So I remember I was in yeshiva in New York, so so someone had a snack, they gave out salsa. It says on, hot, they're like, this is like, whatever. Oh, this is too hot, whatever. I tried some, I was like, what's going on? It's called Jewish hot, Jewish brand, salsa, whatever it is. So, some people appreciate the heat, some people don't. But that's not called Shaveh l'chol nefesh, since the yisod of eating is Shaveh l'chol nefesh. People enjoy food. You could like this, you can feel that some people don't like fish, some people don't like this. So that doesn't make a difference. We don't look at that. We look at, is this action Shaveh l'chol nefesh? Now, a couple of big shilas that come up, okay, we'll talk in next sif about, merchats and showers and whatever, but what the post can talk about a lot is smoking. And this is a big issue. It's going back, Shulchan talks about it, and the Shabur talks about it, and the earlier post can talk about it. Is this something Shaveh l'chol nefesh? This is an example. Shulchan, this is a way to be magdir what it is. He says, well, some people say since not everyone smokes, some people don't like it. So therefore, it's not Shaveh l'chol nefesh. But Aruch Chaim says, but since we're not talking about mefunakim, it wasn't just like the upper class who would go ahead and smoke. He said just the opposite. He said most of the lower class people, the real gas people, and they're the ones who smoke, and a lot of the stuff that they smoke, most people can't even stand. Or they smoke, or even upper class smoke cigars. A lot of people can't stand that. So he said that therefore that's called shava l'chol nefesh, because it's only things which only like a certain funaki and things like that won't use. Whether nowadays smoking, whatever it says, the Tshuva of Moshe says, some people don't like it, whatever, but that was also, these Tshuvas were written, a lot of these Tshuvas were written before, scientific findings came out about how dangerous they were, which was more like after Moshe was nifter, after that they
Stark came out in the late 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah.
When they really came out with the damage. Prior to that,
they said that's not healthy, maybe, I don't know, whatever, but they realized how dangerous it was. It was only later, so a lot of these Tshuvas, you can't apply, and Rabbi Yoshev held that it's not Shavuot L'chol Nefesh.
In the early 90s, you were still smoking in the Beis Medrash Kabbalah, in the Beis Medrash itself. It was much.
Well, here around 2000, here they were still.
They
were smoking in the hospitals. The doctors are smoking, and you're speaking to you. Okay, all right. So, Al Kolpanim, the Rabbi Yoshev holds it's not Shavuot L'chol Nefesh. Obviously, there's those who are mekilim, and whatever. The pashas is that. I don't know. Pashas is, some people have who to rely on. I don't know. That the Al big poskim are not so. I'll say that it's not Shavuot L'chol Nefesh anymore. It's a serious shaila. That they would need to be discussed with a Rav. We'll get into shaila of refuah. If a person's addicted and he needs it for refuah, it's also a different shaila. But Al Kolpanim, and this is what the idea of Shavuot L'chol Nefesh. Beis mutar lahachem b'yomtav mayim lichotz yadav. You're allowed to heat up water to wash, to have warm water to wash your hands. Avalo kol gufo, but you can't heat up water to go ahead and take a full bath shower. Afilo ein arochtav v'fachas. Even if you do aver, you can't heat up water for that. Now, of course, for a baby, you need to bathe the baby. He's cold, whatever, it's dirty, whatever it is. You're allowed to use warm water to go ahead and clean him. But also, but you can't heat water up just for the baby. I feel in a Yehudi, even with a goy, because shetzarech lahem. But if you also need hot water to cook or to wash something, then you'd be allowed to go ahead and be marbe for the cotton.
Did we start off by saying that it
means even if something which is he heated it up to have a cup of coffee. So you don't have to just heat up a little cup. You could go, let's just heat up a big pot. Yeah, so that would be okay. Or a big urn.
Or to turn on the hot water.
Right. So that's the thing. Nowadays, but the hot water nowadays is also there's a slightly lower thing because there's also the grama. That you're not heating it up, you're using the water for something mutter, and the water is mainly. And there are those who say like the very end of Yom Tov is a shaila, like if you right before Shkia, whether you could turn on the hot water because the water is going to be cooked afterwards. But then again, it's also a grama, so your kavanah is not to cook it for afterwards. So it could be if you need it, you need it. Lakopanim for showers. So it's not again. The meaning is let's just say if you have water which is heated up before Yom Tov, let's say you close your water heater off, so no new water comes in, and you have that water, then the chara you would be mutter to go ahead and to use that water to wash yourself. Miu dafka chutz merchatz. Merchatz also you can't go to a base of merchatz shower. It's not called a base of merchatz. Yesh oisi b'chol inyan. Agad the Ramah says no, it's also legamri take a shower as a gzeres mechotzos. It's also to shower to bathe on Yom Tov v'chein noagim. And obviously for that the shiloh is lifting up first of all for by a mikvah. People allowed to by women's mikvah, the tzorch mitzvah, are they they're allowed to use the Ramah. Sfardim can use hot water, but the field of Ramah they're matters up to postrim, like warm water.
Maybe just a brief 30-second explanation between the difference of how Sfardim hold from Grandma and how Ashkenazim hold from Grandma.
Well, it's not Grandma. This is
based on the Sephardic approach of Grandma is why most Sephardim can use the hot water.
Right, but I'm dealing with. I'm saying I think that's going to get too confusing. That's how in L'chogas B'chaber Ramah. I don't want to get into but with the isha with Tvila. So then if it was heated up before Yom Tov, or things like that. So the Mishnah says you can be making with hot water. If they need to go ahead and for the Tzarech Mitzvah. About taking showers on Yom Tov. Yom Tov Sheni, generally the minig, and Chutzar the minig is to be more makel. All these halachas are generally more makel on Yom Tov Sheni. I do know that in Eretz Yisrael, when it comes to definitely the only time we have a 3-day Yom Tov is on Rosh Hashanah Shabbos, and yeshivas, I think the yeshivas are matching them to shower on the second day Rosh Hashanah. And my son said a lot of yeshivas are because, and they tell them, maybe Ava or whatever it is, because they cannot take it. It's like before, they go crazy. I've seen it, whatever. Even on a regular Rosh Hashanah, I've heard that certain boys who shower every day, the yeshiva can give them heterion to go ahead and take a warm shower because Rosh Hashanah doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. So, so I guess bathing is, it's a shadow shal chol nefesh, but a chol panim, if it's for some sort of refuah, there is room to be more makel and these inyanim, I don't know. I was very surprised when my son said that, but I'm not Israeli, so, I grew up, yes, you make it through 2 days, what's the big deal? But, a chol panim, but yeah, so that's otherwise, unless obviously if a person got dirty for some reason, he can wash his arm. I think by Shabbos you can use hot water for that. Yeah, on Yom Tov. But yeah, that's the there. Do a little bit more. Gimel Adam Mutar Litbol BeYom Tov Mitum. Also, a person's allowed to go ahead and to be toivel. Toivel on Yom Tov, even though it's like the sakin Adam, we're asking sakin kli, but Adam shiny because it's near Kamekar, and it is mutter. Ein oisim. Maybe we'll stop here. This is a bit more of an issue.